It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Well, folks, it's happening on March 20th. It's called the Schuylkill County Youth Summit. It's the second annual Youth Summit, and it's something very exciting, and we're going to learn all about that on today's show. My guest today, folks, Kay Jones, who is the Executive Director of the Schuylkill County Vision, and one of the Schuylkill County Commissioners who's doing a fabulous job, Gary Hess, and we'll talk a little bit about what these guys are doing. But anyway, this Schuylkill County Vision, first of all, welcome, Kay and Gary. Nice to see the both of you. Kay, for the sake of our viewership, what is Schuylkill County Vision?
Schuylkill County Vision began about 16 years ago now as a strategic visioning process for Schuylkill County. And it's morphed over the years. What we're doing at present is we serve as a fiscal sponsor for 9 strategic partnerships in the county. There's small groups that can't be their own 501c3s or grassroots groups. And we also take on larger projects and administer and manage, and we build coalitions around really important issues. So we have a number of them going, and right now the Youth Summit's one of our most beloved and interesting projects. So.
Before we get to the Youth Summit, which I think is really fabulous, you said you have organizations, okay, and give me an example of how they work through some of those organizations, what they do.
Some of them started back 16 years ago, and some of them are newer. A lot of them have to do, well, I'll give you a good example, Block of Art. Block of Art, which is a 3-day arts festival in Pottsville. It's the 8th year for them. This year is going to be April 25th, 26th, 27th. They turned downtown Pottsville into this wonderful art venue for all kinds of exciting things. There's a small group of artists who got together, and they're not big enough to really be their own 501c3. So we're their fiscal sponsor. We hold their monies, but beyond that, we provide them a lot of management help, and we resource them into the communities. Vision is well networked into the communities, so what we can do for those kinds of organizations is that we can bring resources, we can bring people to the table. If they're interested in a particular area of the county, we can get resources there for them. So we work with those groups. We have a new immunization coalition that just started about 2 years ago, bringing people to the table to try to look at the problems of illnesses in the county that are immunizationally preventable. We've got...
So that brings awareness to that, right?
Absolutely,
okay.
And we also actually go out and do clinics. We immunized about 2,300 people this year with free flu vaccine.
Wow, that's fabulous.
So we have a mental health group, we have a suicide prevention group, we have a diabetes group, we have just a number of other groups that we basically try to get their good work into the community without them having to worry about being their own 501c3.
So what would be an example if I wanted to get involved with Schuylkill County Vision, okay, as a central point, as you're saying? What would be something that I would need to do if I have an idea or if I want to have an organization to do something? Because there's a lot of people out there who say, we would like to help this, for example, suicide prevention.
Right.
You don't, it doesn't mean that much until something happens in the
Right,
family, okay?
right.
But how does someone get about working on that?
Well, they can call. They can call Schuylkill County's Vision. We can put them in touch with the right people. They're always looking for more volunteers. Volunteers are always welcome. All of these groups are open, so anybody can come to the table who's interested in any of the things that we do. If they go to our website, they'll be able to see the full scope of the right at the bottom, actually, of the front page. They'll list all of the strategic partnerships we have.
Which is great.
Yes. Plus, we have a lot of other projects going on. So there's lots of ways for people to connect into the community.
You know what I found, Kay? There are so many people out there with so many great talents, okay? And they, if they're semi-retired or retired or they want to become involved in the community, Schuylkill County Vision gives them that opportunity to participate in the number of organizations that you have. So I would highly recommend you go to their website, folks, and peruse what they have already, or if you have an idea of something that you feel is a benefit to the community, I would highly suggest give them a call. Let's put the number up there, Andy. So the phone number, the Schuylkill County website also is 570-622-6097, and you can give Kay a call. But I find these organizations so helpful, okay? like when we were doing the bicentennial and the lasting legacy, there's so many things that develop from that, which Pottsville and the greater Pottsville area still benefit from that. So the projects, you know, if you need volunteers to get involved and to work with that. I know Senator Rhodes was very involved with
very involved. Yeah. He was really an inspiration for Vision. Actually, on our website, we have a piece there to Senator Rhodes simply because of his involvement with us. He really wanted Vision to become an organization that brought Schuylkill County forward, and that's really, we kind of in the office think of that promise that we made to the senator every day.
You know, Kay, the last interview he ever did was with me.
I remember that.
At your place.
I remember that.
And that was, you know, and I can sense, you know, and there was a guy that wasn't concerned about whether he was Republican or Democrat.
No.
He just did good things, and you know, but one of the events that's coming up, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit, is this Schuylkill County Youth Summit. It's the second annual summit. But before we go to break, I want to talk to Gary Hess. Gary, you're Schuylkill County Commissioner. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again publicly. You and your other two commissioners are an asset to Schuylkill County. You also are people in the state of Pennsylvania that people should, all political people should look at what Schuylkill County is doing as far as your county commissioners are concerned, because you truly work together for the betterment of the community. I've said this publicly, and you're a Democrat, and there's two Republicans, so I'm not siding with anyone, but I want to give I've been around a long time, and I've seen how politicians could destroy things, but you guys have done a great job, and I want the public to know that publicly you guys are doing fabulous.
Well, thank you, Sam, and that's one thing I think we all came to the table right after we were all elected to look out for the best interests of Schuylkill County and its citizens. And again, we don't agree on a lot of things, but sometimes we work out to what's going to be the best interest of all Schuylkill County citizens to continue moving Schuylkill County forward. We've come a long way. I believe our future is well ahead of us, and it's a bright one, and we need to work with everyone, especially with Schuylkill County Vision. And when this organization was formed, and if you look at the word vision, and actually it's a vision to the future, and that's what we need to, sometimes when you're in office, maybe you're here for a short time, maybe you're here for a long time, but the thing is you want to leave a legacy that you can hand off that baton to someone to pick up and to go, and you have to be, to have a good working relationship with everyone, and my two colleagues and myself, we do get along, and we work out things to the best interests of what Schuylkill County can be, as in hopefully growing to the future.
So what's the formula? What's the formula of you know, you run for office, which is the great American way, and then when you get in office, you put things aside, you don't go on with vendettas, you don't get on, I'm going to get you because you did this and you voted against me and you supported this, and all the nonsense that we live with today, and that's why the Congress, United States Congress, there's a lot of great people there. They have the people just are down because they're all greedy, they all in for themselves. What's the formula, Gary?
I believe it's listening to others' ideas, and if they're good and it all works out, that we can put that ingredients together, and that it's good. Just because of someone on the other side has brought an idea and I don't want to see it being successful, well, I'm going to vote no. I had an actual someone actually on my side of the party say, well, you know, you're the minority, you should be, when are you going to say no? Because, well, I said, you'll know when I say no. I'm not just in there to say no. I said, and I'll state the reason why I object. But a lot of times things are good. You need to move things forward. And it's that, and even my other two colleagues, George and Frank, even when I've had ideas pushed, they've seen my way. So sometimes you get a little bit of both. It's a good mix, and that's what you need to do that, especially in government and in politics. If you want to move things forward and to get and solve problems, it is the only way that I can. And again, I got that from my experience, and Sam, you would know that from the JCs.
Yes.
My many years in the JC organization is reaching across the table and working out differences and working for people, because the JCs are a community-based organization, leadership training, and that's what the principles they told you all the time.
Do you still have the JCs in Pottsville?
No, we don't. We've lost the charter there a number of years ago.
Same here.
And it's a shame, because it's
Yes.
a great organization. I can attest to it, and probably you could do the same, of all the things that I've learned and the success that I I have to go back to that.
And let me tell you,
organization.
it brings back so many memories. I was a JC president.
Sure.
I was fortunate to get the Outstanding Young Man of the Year award, Distinguished Service Award. But the thing was with the JCs is exactly what you said. In fact, Necco Allen, you remember Necco Allen?
Oh, yes, it did, yeah.
Well, I ran for senator,
Yes.
the JC senator. That's where we had our meeting. But the JCs developed all that stuff. In working with the county commissioners, and you were focusing now on Schuylkill County Vision. When we come back after the break, we're going to talk about this great event that you're having on March the 20th, which is the Schuylkill County Youth Summit. And I think you got a lot of interesting things to say about that. And as you're talking about that, we're going to show some clips from last year's. Okay, folks, I'm talking to Kay Jones, who is the Executive Director of Schuylkill County Vision. And her phone number, you get involved, it's 570-622-6097. And County Commissioner, Schuylkill County Commissioner Gary Hess. We'll be back right after these messages. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. Remember ssptv.com. You can watch every one of our shows, the 21 shows that we produce, as well as our news that's aired at 5 o'clock and 5:30. Now, for all of you viewers in the greater Pottsville area, you're certainly watching us or on Comcast 190. So if you're watching us in Tamaqua and you have friends in Pottsville, it's 190. Most people are understanding now. We were on 7 for a while. Now we're on 190, which is a clearer channel, essentially. The picture is absolutely fabulous, and that's Comcast 190. Folks, on March 20th, something great is happening in Schuylkill County. It's called the Schuylkill County Youth Summit, and this is the second annual summit. My guest today is Kay Jones, who is the Executive Director for Schuylkill County Vision, and Schuylkill County Commissioner Gary Hess. Okay, so now, how did this Schuylkill County Youth Summit come to being, Kay?
Actually, before Commissioner Hess was elected, he had spoken to me about the desire to have some kind of youth gathering to really begin to understand what the youth of the county want the future of the county to be. So after he was elected, we sat down and started to talk about it, and we looked at a lot of models around the country, and they weren't exactly what we were looking for. So we went and had a meeting with a group of students who were pulled together already as a drug and alcohol council, started talking with them, started talking to some community leaders, and started to put together a model for ourselves, really getting to where we wanted. So that's how it started. It was Commissioner Hess's idea.
So what's the purpose of this?
Well, the whole purpose of this, Sam, is if even, it's not just a Schuylkill County issue, it's the northeastern section of Pennsylvania and Pennsylvania as a whole, is you hear about, well, geez, there's nothing here. I can't be successful here. I'm going to leave the area and find other things, and which is all good. We don't want to cut anybody's dreams, and if your dream is to move or whatever, that's fine. But there's a lot of successes right here. I'm a true portion of that because I have a successful business. It's to do with a lot of people in the area. You yourself here in this area here have a successful business and profession doing it. And there's many people, you look back to one I was just talking with the other day is Mrs. T's, a concept that worked out of a family home and now it's worldwide. You know, you don't have to look on that bigger picture, but there's some great opportunities, good education here, and things right here at home. And our whole principle is that we want to make our young people be successful, to work, raise a family, and to enjoy themselves without leaving home. That those opportunities are here, and we want to expand on that. And the thing is we want to engage them. There was 3 principles on the summit, was engage, equip, and support them. And through all that process, is that what we try to continue to do, is to engage them in the process so they have an understanding. We want to listen to you, and we want you to put that into action. So that's where we're at.
You know, what happens is, and you hear this as well as is saying, well, we'd like to stay here, but you know, what are the opportunities? You know, certainly people do not want to move out of the area, or maybe some do want to move. And sometimes I found in the greater Hazleton area, some people moved and they were gone for 2-3 years, but they came back, okay? Sure. And I'm seeing a lot of people who have been gone now coming back to the area. So with Schuylkill County Vision and the opportunity, so if you're telling me that there are opportunities, what are these opportunities that we could look into, okay? So, you know, if someone's listening, say, yeah, it's easy to say, Commissioner, or okay, but what do we have available to us?
Well, the one thing what we did, Sam, and again when we did the beginning to get a feel of what the young people were thinking, is we surveyed them. We put a survey out to the schools last year, right before the Christmas holiday, and we got probably well over 4,000 surveys back, which is unbelievable on the amount of input and data that we could collect from that. Over 4,000.
Wow.
And it's just unreal on what the data we've got of hearing. And the thing about some things, and Kay can relate to this, on some things what they liked about the area was naturally the cost of living, that it's easy. They love the area, that the picturesque areas that we have in Schuylkill County, the different landscapes from farming to the hills and so forth that way. The people were very friendly, and in dire need, if anything happened, people always surrounded and came to everyone's aid. I don't know if Kay, if you have some other things that came out of that survey.
The survey was interesting because when we started to talk to students, what they wanted to do was to be listened to. And we were concerned that if we had the summit, which we have 6 students come from each school district, we have 16 school districts, and we have six students representatives come, but that we wouldn't really be listening to all the students. So we had sent the survey out to 16 different high schools in the county, and they all participated, and we did receive over 4,000 ultimately back. They identified 3 areas of concern that they really would like to see some movement in. One was quality of life, and that encompassed a lot of different things. It encompassed everything from having more activities, more recreational opportunities. Blight was an issue for them. They don't like sometimes the way things look. So quality of life, jobs, which was about jobs, and jobs. And then the third one was public safety, which surprised us. A lot of the students don't like the drug and alcohol culture that's largely found among the students, not only the young and some of our older kids, after they get out of school. They were worried about roads and road safety, speeding and issues like that. They were worried that some of their towns were losing their police forces, and curious about why that was happening. So in the first summit, the way that we structured it, each school sends 6 students, and we built for them, because from the survey, we built for them a panel of community leaders, and they just got to talk to them in the morning. And it was very, very interesting. We actually got a transcript of that conversation, and there was a really good conversation going. Then in the afternoon, we took them through a process where they could take some of the things that were their concerns and actually put together a community project. We walked them through a process to do that. Students really enjoyed that. We had our local SCORE group, which is retired executives who help people put together business plans and things like that in the community. They put together a proposal for grants, and the community foundation, it's the Chamber Foundation in our town, in the county, funded that. So we had some grant money, and some of the projects that were put together as proposals for grants, and they got grants. They had to match them. And they've been working on the projects for a year now in their community, some of them very, very successful. So when we got comments back then, it was, I didn't know that I could do something. I'm a student. I didn't realize I could be doing things to make a difference. Thank you for listening to us. A lot of very, very positive feedback from this summit. We also, at the same time, asked each of the 16 schools to send 2 students to a commissioners meeting every quarter, and we call them youth ambassadors, and they've been meeting with the county commissioners now over the course of the year to discuss what issues there are in the county and give us more feedback on things that are happening. So we really are trying to focus on getting a student voice in what's going on in Schuylkill County.
And Sam, if I can, this has all been student driven. We didn't come out as adults saying, well, you need to do this, this, and this. That's why we always had the roundtables with the youth there to say, well, what direction do you want to lead this in? This is your summit. You tell us what ingredients and what you need or who you need at the table, and we'll get them there. And that's where we're at and moving into this year, and we can tell you a little bit more on our movement on what our plans are for this year's summit.
We're going to take a quick break, but I got to tell you, what beautiful, what a sense of tools that you got from this survey. It's interesting what you just said those 3 categories were. And you talk about the youth today, they're pretty intelligent. and they're zeroed in on what's happening.
Want to be connected.
Yes, and that's very impressive. Folks, I'm talking to Kay Jones, the Executive Director of the Schuylkill County Vision, and County Commissioner Gary Hess, who is a Schuylkill County Commissioner. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. I'm Sam Lesante. And hey, folks, let me say thank you very much for making us the Sam Lesante Show, the #1 talk show in northeastern Pennsylvania. I truly appreciate it. My email is sam@ssptv.com, and also our website, ssptv.com. My guests today are Kay Jones, who's the Executive Director of the Schuylkill County Vision, and Schuylkill County Commissioner Gary Hess. We're talking about March 20th, the Schuylkill County Youth Summit, the second annual summit. How is this thing put together? What's it all about?
Well, again, it compromises actually 18 different schools, Sam, and our 2 technical schools in Gillingham school in the area. So it encompasses a lot of people in there. And also this year we're reaching out to some of the colleges in the area, El Tri-C, Penn State, Alvernia, so a couple of different other ones that are in that area to get that other age segment into the feeling out. And right before we left on the break, you talked about connecting with the kids. And one story I liked, we meet about 4 times a year. We bring the students into, because it's their summit. This is student driven, and we said, we'll take off the summer. And they said, no way, we want to come in here and get business done. And in the heat of the summer in July, they came into the courthouse and had a meeting. So that's how much they're want to do, and the brightness, and they understand the future, not only their future, but hopefully future generations to get it going. And like we talked in the last segment, what we're planning on doing, again, and this comes from off their ideas, they didn't know how to make change happen. Right. Like they say, well, geez, we want something changed in our town or community. Well, how do we do about it? Well, naturally, you get a group of people, you go to a council meeting, your township supervisors, propose the idea and so forth. And that's what they want to understand. What we're doing is we're taking them through that process. This time where we talked about the top 3 things was the quality of life, jobs, and also public safety. In the morning, they're going to be broken up into different groups, 2 students from each of the schools, and they're going to go in and talk about these issues and debate and so forth, and come out that afternoon, right prior to lunch, and to come out with top priorities, whether that's maybe changing a law, a project, or whatever. Then that afternoon, we're going to have a mock council / supervisors meeting. One representative from each of the schools will be a member of council. They've already elected a council president, which will oversee it. And then all 3 ideas will go amongst the debate, and they'll debate it out. And then what we plan to do is to take that top issue, and then we're planning in the fall, when the kids come back from school again, is to take it out at the end of September into 3 community town hall meetings, and to go out to the local municipality leaders and the other residents. So now they're getting more in touch with more people on how to affect change. And that's the whole principle of what this second summit is to get a little bit of understanding how government works, how we can affect change, good positive change. And again, it's all the ideas. We're not sitting there lecturing to them. We're letting them run the course and the time frame.
So, Kay, it's March 20th. How do people get involved? What would you want the community to do?
The community has rallied around the Youth Summit amazingly. The students were, I'll give you an example, the Chamber of Commerce in town, Schuylkill County Chamber of Commerce, actually had a special breakfast for the Youth Summit students, and they came, they brought a lot of people to Penn State campus in Schuylkill Haven, and they connected these community people to these projects right there. The students all presented their projects. They were seated at tables with people from their community. So there's been an enormous amount of connection already. We will be looking, and we have all year, been looking for people to resource some of the projects the students have. It was very interesting. I told you that some of the students could get grants for their projects. We had, in one of the instances, they had a $500 grant that they were going to be working on. They went to their town and said, this is what we want to do. And the Lions Club said, well, don't take the grant. We'll fund you. This is something we want to fund for our own community. And they gave them space and everything else. So if people, the day is open. We're somewhat limited in how many people we can put into the courtroom, but I think it's like a couple hundred. So people could actually come to observe if they wanted to that day. We would ask that they would let us know. But we will be working with them throughout the year with the student projects.
Well, all I can say is keep up the good work. Okay,
Thank
I
you.
think it's fabulous. Okay, folks, it's called the Youth Summit, Schuylkill County Youth Summit. It's the second annual Youth Summit. As you heard, such great things. Support the youth. The phone number to get involved at Schuylkill County Vision, 570-622-6097. Go to their website. And I wish you two the best success and keep up
Thank
the
you.
great work, okay?
Thank you.
And folks, once again, thank you for supporting us here, especially on Comcast 190. We're also showing this on SSP TV on Channel 13 in Schuylkill County. We'll see you next time.